Okay, let me tell you what's going on. We're here at Knox Studios. Our team here at FNN contacted a former NASA employee to do a short interview about some of his projects. It didn't take long to realize that this gentleman has a lot to say about a lot more than just what he did at NASA. So, could you tell us again why you called?
Well, yes, I guess I called to tell you my story. It's probably going to sound pretty fantastic, but, well, I assure you every word is the truth.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
The beginning. Well, maybe it'd be better if I start halfway and then we'll circle back.
Okay, it's your story.
Well, yes, I guess it is, I suppose. I'll start with my betrayal. I had a great friend once. He found me living in a modest village. All the people of my village were killed in a brutal monster attack, and he took me in. Then he began to train me in the arcane arts. He was a good master and fine teacher. Eventually we took in more students, and I was his assistant. It was a good time of my life. So exciting, learning new spells each day.
I'm sorry, spells as in magic?
Yes, magic. Magic and a great many other things in this world and others are very real, my dear. I'll tell you my whole story. It's a long one, though. My name is Bob, and I've had quite a life. "100 Days Hardcore Minecraft with Magic." After doing a couple videos using 1.7.10 Magic mods, I think it's time that we update to the most recent version. In 100 Days Magic Edition, we will be following our great wizard Bob as he is banished to a small floating island in the sky, then learns not the magic of blood and death, but instead one of life. This mod pack is Garden of Glass Questbook Edition, and you can download it from CurseForge for 1.16.5. If you don't know who our friend Bob is, make sure to check out the whole playlist of 100 Days videos linked down below. Again, I'll be lightly role-playing this in order to better tell a story. I have quite the tale to tell as we build a world, expand on it, and work through the mod pack. I love this format for telling a story. If you enjoy this type of content, as well as more traditional Let's Play videos from my long-term epic survival Bedrock RTX world, please subscribe for more. Alright, then enough of all that. Let's get on and see what Bob is up to. After the business of betraying my master was done, the council brought me before them. I was judged guilty because I learned magic from a banished one. Because I gave up my master, I was allowed to live, and granted the same fate as the one I betrayed. I appeared on the strangest planet I could ever imagine. Well, there was no real planet, just a very small floating island over a void. Yet there seemed to be gravity and an atmosphere. It was kind of beautiful. It seems the council had learned its lesson. After banishing my master on a planet ripe with resources that allowed him to regain his arcane abilities, it seems I've been sent to a place with nothing. Literally nothing. A small platform floating in a void. I reached for my magic and, yeah, it was gone. I was alone in this place with nothing. Before I was pushed through the portal, the eldest member of the council shoved a small book in my robe. I opened my mouth to say something, but he just shook his head. Seems he gave me a book on how to survive in this place. At least, maybe one how to create life. Under the grass blocks that I appeared on, I found some living root. I broke that, and sure enough, I could get a sapling from it. With a sapling, I could maybe grow a tree, and with the tree, maybe apples and maybe more things. At least, maybe I won't starve. The book told me to search the ground for little pebbles that I could craft into cobblestone, and sure enough, it worked. I just hit it with an empty hand, and I get cobblestone. That's pretty nice. I was able to get enough that I could make a small platform around to hopefully catch all saplings. If I lose all the sapling from a tree, well, I might be in big trouble. As the sun started to set, I started to get a little bit nervous. Remember, I came from a planet filled to the brink with terrible monsters that came out at night. Now, the old mage's book told me to make something called a dark room, and with that I can get monsters to spawn only within that room. I don't know where they're coming from, and I don't really want to ask, but yeah, I started constructing a darkroom already here on day one. I made my darkroom, and yeah, it was a total bust. I don't really know how these things work. After a full day and night, I got no monsters whatsoever. Now, I did spend the entire day expanding my platform a little bit and harvesting a ton of oak, so not all was lost, but yeah, so far, no luck. Since my darkroom didn't work, I decided to take it all down and build one a little bit further away from my platform. Maybe I'm too close to bring the monsters in or something. I don't know. But regardless, this one, sure enough, did work. Once night fell and no sort of extra light could get in, yeah, I got monsters. Some of the same monsters from my old world. Some skeletons, creepers, even an enderman appeared. That's not too bad. Somehow the book knows when I have the requirements to move on to the next task. It's kind of a questing system, I suppose. So I spent a lot of time sitting and waiting and harvesting oak and looking at my darkroom today. According to the book, if I kill 5 skeletons, creepers, zombies, 1 witch, and 1 enderman, I will complete the task and get a little reward. Where's that reward come from? I don't know. I just get it. Somehow after I complete a task, I get a reward. This mage, it was trying to help me. I don't know why, but she was. Well, regardless, I had a lot of time today to really just think. A lot of time to think is not really an ideal thing for me right now. When I think back and I remember the way that I treated my master, the man who took me in when I was the last surviving member of my village, I'm embarrassed that I didn't believe in him, that I betrayed him. I think that his plan could have worked. Had we all teamed up together, gone through the backup portal, we could have mounted a defense against the council. But regardless, what's done is done. I can't change it right now. I can only survive, and it's probably best that I don't spend a lot of time in quiet contemplation right now because it's not a good place for me. The book talks about something called mystical flowers. This is something I don't really know much about, but it seems like it's guiding me to learn some sort of magic. I'm kind of figuring out that maybe different planets have different magic systems that they can use, because while I don't have any of my old Ars Magica or Thaumcraft ability, I do seem to have some sort of ability to get these mystical flowers, and whenever I hold them in my hand, yeah, I feel something. I don't know what exactly. It's a little different than what I had before when I was a fairly powerful mage, but it's something. It's some sort of arcane ability, and yeah, maybe the book is going to show me how to do this. I spent the day using bone meal and grabbing flowers, and then with that, I could use those flowers and turn it into some sort of special Botania fertilizer. And with that fertilizer, I can get mystical flowers. Yeah, I got quite a few today. Less than a week into this new place, and I may have already screwed up. I can't figure out a way to fill a petal apothecary with water. I have no access to iron, so I can't make a pure daisy unless I can fill the apothecary. I may need to kill enough zombies to get 3 iron ingots. Oh, I might be here for a very, very long time waiting. The thought occurred to me today that I am an idiot. I can make a wooden bowl, and with a wooden bowl, I can scoop up enough water to fill it up. Yeah. Now I can make living stone and living wood with my pure daisy. Hooray. Now that I have a bit of living wood, I can actually make a wand of the forest, and with that connect my mana spreader, my 1 endo flame, with a mana pool. I have mana. I feel almost like a mage again. It's pretty amazing. I spent the rest of the day collecting living rock and living stone just to prep for the future. Last night I got attacked by phantoms. These things are really scary whenever I'm positioned just inches away from the void. Yeah, I don't have a fence or anything like that, and a phantom could knock me off very easily, so yeah, I need to sleep. So I have my mob farm roof that I hid under throughout the night, but I still don't have a bed. So I need to spend some real time killing spiders. I need 12 string in order to make a bed. I worked all day today on basically doubling the size of my platform and the roof that goes over top of it to make sure that no light seeps into my mob farm and make it efficient both day and night. Yeah, I really don't want to see phantoms again ever. More phantoms again, but I made an orchard. This flower is amazing. With just some mana, I can put down smooth stone and it will conjure ores from mana. I got enough iron to make an iron pick, and if this thing will actually make some redstone, I can actually even automate my endoflame a little bit. I am keeping an eye out for my spiders in my mob farm to get the string. I'm truly hoping this is the last night I have to stay awake all night. My mob farm blew up. I don't exactly know what happened. I just heard an explosion, came and looked, and yeah, boom. If I had to guess, probably a skeleton trying to shoot at me hit a creeper, and the creeper got even, but I don't know. Luckily, I didn't lose anything really good. My orchard is amazing, but my biggest holdup at the moment is actually stone production. I really need just a bit of redstone so I can move this whole project along, but as of yet, I've used all my mana and no luck. The orchard is coming along beautifully and is providing tons of ores. Tomorrow I'll automate this, but first, I finally got 12, actually 13 string, and that's enough for 3 wool, and that is enough for a bed. My goodness. I took a look around my little world, and finally went to sleep. I built an open crate and added just a bit of redstone. If my calculations are correct, the hopper should turn off when there's something, coal or charcoal in the pressure plate, and then when an endoflame eats it, it should drop just one more single piece. I hope I'm right on this. I don't exactly have the resources to spare. Today was a huge day for me on my little platform. First, I made 3 more endoflames. Tripling my meager mana production is a good thing. Then, I heard the familiar cackle of a witch, the last mob I need to finish this quest. I slayed the dozen or so other mobs in the farm, and I got the quest done. Hooray! And to cap the day off, I fixed my redstone and got my dropper actually working. But wait! Oh wait, there's more. I placed more stone since I had some mana saved up, and I got diamonds. Oh man, I am so happy. After a bunch of really sort of difficult and tough days, today was a good one. I just needed a little bit more lapis to finish the orchard quest, and I got it today. It was awesome. So the next thing the book is telling me is to craft some mana steel armor and tools. That is probably going to take quite a bit of mana, unfortunately. I'm starting to have a real issue with not having dirt as well. It's kind of a problem, but not a problem I really see a solution to. I think for the time being, I'm going to be kind of stuck with oak and cobblestone. I set up more semi-permanent places for my 2 pure daisies. Of course, this whole thing is going to change as I begin to work out the actual layout of the base. But for right now, it's fine. It's safe. Everything is lit up and fenced off. I should be about as safe as humanly possible. I shouldn't have mobs spawning, and I really shouldn't be able to fall off my platform unless I dig directly under my feet. Well, let's just hope I don't do that. My dirt problem is real. I got a couple potatoes from some zombies and have a decent amount of seeds, but I really have nowhere to plant them. I'm still eating apples, which is okay, but it would be really nice if I could cook the apples or something like that, but I can't. One thing that happened that was very cool, I was by my mana pool holding an oak sapling, and I noticed I can drop it in and get a spruce sapling in return. That's really amazing. I kind of wish I had thought to check that before. I'm not going to be stuck to all oak and cobble now. Now it can be all cobble, oak, spruce, and I presume the rest of the saplings as well. This could actually be a huge game changer for me. I could start to actually make some things that look pretty as well as functional and keep me from falling into the void. Yeah, very nice. I spent a big part of the day laying out farms, sort of going into the evening and night. I decided to lay out some 9x9 meter farms, and just hope that at some point the book is going to show me how to get dirt. I really don't know how that's going to be yet, but, you know, it hasn't done me wrong yet, so I assume that the book is going to guide me in that respect as well. I did it! I saved up enough mana to actually get in a full mana steel armor and tool set. Amazing. And, to boot, I look freaking cool. Now that I'm going to be using mana steel tools, however, I need a source of mana to carry it with me. That's kind of how they work, is they use, instead of durability, they use mana to sort of cost that. And if you don't have any mana on you, then they break rather quickly. So that's no good. These are pretty expensive after all. So I made something called a mana steel tablet. It's awesome. It's kind of like a battery that I can just carry with me that will just recharge my armor, recharge my tools, and actually some other things coming in down the road that are going to be pretty cool too. For the next quest, however, I need 10 pumpkins, and yeah, that's going to take a little while, so I planted my 1 pumpkin seed, bone mealed it up, and now I'm just going to have to wait. So while waiting for my 10 pumpkins to grow, I'm just going to farm as much spruce as I can, get a bunch of materials, and make a whole bunch of charcoal as well for my awesome new mana setup. I got my 10th pumpkin finally and made 10 fell pumpkins. The quest book is a little bit unclear here. It seems I have to go to the nether to get blazes, but to get obsidian, I need blazes, so... After some research, I learned that you can make fell blazes, which is 2 iron bars with a fell pumpkin on top. I get kind of a hybrid blaze. It only drops blaze powder, but a good amount of it. Enough to make some blaze blocks, and with that, I can use my pure daisy and convert them into obsidian. Time to go on vacation to hell.
So this council banished you like they did your master?
Yes, but to a different planet. They called it a dimension, but I know science and understand that it's just a planet in a different solar system.
You knew science back then?
Well, my father did, and I learned it from his notes. You see, I was actually born on a spaceship called the Sheriff. There was some sort of accident and we had to evacuate. We crashed on a planet called Tovalin. I was just a child when we crashed, but eventually trained as a test pilot. One of our tests was to leave the singularity that surrounded Tovalin.
A singularity?
It's kind of a field that surrounds the planet. It wouldn't let any signal through, so my mission was to exit the singularity and drop a beacon. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. My ship hit the field and was projected out wildly fast. I was put into deep sleep and only woken once the ship crashed on a distant planet. I have no idea how long or far I traveled from Tovalin.
Wow, and the planet you crashed on was...
That planet is where I met my master and eventually learned magic. Well, I did it. I made all the obsidian I need. Took a while to fight all those blazes, but I did it and I emerged victorious, although I will admit there were a few close calls. I made my portal, and tomorrow we're going to the nether. I spent the entirety of the day wandering around the nether. I need to find a fortress and kill a ghast. Both things seem to be a bit of a challenge, but first things first. I need to be safe. I made a gold helmet to make the piglins think I'm one of them, and actually did some trading with one today. Honestly, it was quite fun to get some nice things from them, too. Other than that, the only valuable thing I found in the nether so far is some red mushrooms, which actually will be quite valuable at some point. I found a fortress. It's quite far from my portal, and thinking of the future, I figured it would be best to just take time to make a small tunnel that goes straight to it. Before I go about the fighting of blazes, I need to get some food anyway, so, we're not fighting today, but at least I have a way to get back quickly. I finally found a blaze spawner and managed to take out a handful and got 15 blaze rods. I don't intend to come back here anytime very soon, so I saved for a few more than the 10 I actually needed. Lastly, I need a ghast here. I've killed a few, but they keep dropping their tears over lava. So that's cool. I got it! I killed quite a few ghast, but finally got a tear, then another actually right after. I've had about enough of this nether, and I'm very much looking forward to going home. It might not seem like much, but with all the gravel I brought home from the nether, I can turn 2 dirt into 4 coarse dirt, and essentially have quite a bit more dirt. Not infinite, not unlimited, but a lot more than I had before. I'm almost starting to feel my vision for this place come to fruition. I planned as many potatoes as I have, and I am very much looking forward to eating real food in endless supply. I worked hard all day, and after my trip to the nether, I am very much looking forward to going to bed. I had a terrible nightmare again. I dreamt of my master sitting in a cell. His rage at me must be just all-consuming. I have no real excuse. I wish I could try to explain, but in the end, I betrayed him. I don't think he could ever forgive me for it, and honestly, I don't truly think he ever should. I'd like to progress a little bit more in Botania, but in order to do that, I actually need sugarcane, and to get sugarcane, I need a hay bale. Well, I don't have any of that, so I planted the few seeds that I've gotten from grass, and I just need to kind of wait for them to grow. So in the meantime, I'm going to harvest a bunch of oak and get my mana production filled back up again. I made a quick trip to the nether and grabbed some soul sand. I need nether wart for an upcoming project, so I need a place to actually grow it. I can get the actual nether wart seed by tossing a blaze rod into my mana pool, but I don't exactly have renewable blazes here, so yeah, soul sand it is. I'm in a kind of holding pattern now. I spent the whole day waiting for nether wart and wheat to grow. It's okay, I don't mind grabbing just a ton of oak and spruce in the meantime. Also, I made a grass block using fertilizer surrounding a dirt block. I'm spreading that on my second field for now, hoping maybe a chicken will spawn. I'm going to need feathers soon, and yeah, that would be a really nice sort of head start on an upcoming alchemy project. I made my first rune today. I'm still waiting on nether wart enough to grow wheat and then sugarcane, but I made an earth rune. Also, I'm going to want renewable mushrooms soon, so I made a dark room so they'll spread, but as of yet, nothing going. I did have an enderman teleport in there and steal one of them, so that's fun. Fun stuff. I only have a couple, and endermen are going to come in and take them. That's cool. I finally got my hay bale and traded it for sugarcane, but now I don't want to use my one sugarcane for crafting, so I'm going to wait until it at least grows too high to harvest it. Not full growth on nether wart still, and also no chicken has spawned yet on my grass platform, so all in all, nothing accomplished at all. Nothing at all. I got so bored waiting for these things to grow or spawn, I started building what will eventually be some sort of central park on my little base here. It's just a giant oval where it can grow grass and maybe down the road, maybe trees or who knows, a lake or something. It's not great, but I'm starting to wonder if my little grass platform is so small that there are limited chances for passive mobs to spawn, because it's been now 2 days and it's kind of weird that I haven't gotten a single animal yet, so yeah, maybe I just need more grass in general. Both my nether wart and sugarcane grew, so I finally made 2 runes today. Pretty fantastic. I still need a feather, but after a quick trip to the nether for more gravel, at least I have a bunch of dirt I can lay down to make a much bigger and better grass field. Who knows, maybe today's my day. I made something today I probably should have made many days ago. A ring of magnetization. It's going to be a huge resource saver. I have lost several dirt blocks to the void, and an embarrassing amount of other things as well. Look, every single thing I have right now is precious, and if I lose something in the void, that can really set me back. Imagine it was something like a tool or a rune or something that is really painful to make. My only mana is still generated by dropping charcoal into a pressure plate, and thus my ring is still going to pick that up. That's not ideal. There's a flower called a Solagnolia. It's pretty cool. It basically has a small area where it will deactivate my magnet ring. So I can put that near where I have charcoal laying on the ground and I don't want to pick it up. And no matter what happens in that area, my magnet ring won't take it. Yeah, pretty convenient little flower. I'm having a heck of a time getting this feather. If only zombies drop feathers. My grandfather used to tell me bedtime stories of zombies who, when you killed them, they would drop feather back in the olden days. He wasn't really my grandfather. In the Wandering Trader camp, we used to call him Pepo, and all the kids in the camp basically thought of him as their grandfather. When my mother and I crashed on Tovlin without my dad, he really looked after us, introducing us to the world that, at that time, I assumed we'd live in forever. Little did child me know, looking up at the stars, wondering where my dad was, if he was alive or dead, that not only would I eventually leave Tovlin, but I would actually live on 2 more planets. I'd become a powerful mage. I'd be banished in a void world. What a life. Well, anyway, I made something called a Cocoon of Caprice. I believe when it hatches, a random passive animal will spawn. Please be a chicken. Just please be a chicken. Maybe a cow. Cow would be okay, but I need a chicken. Please? My cocoon hatched, and it's a freaking bunny. It's a freaking bunny rabbit. And not only that, but whenever I walked after it to see what it was doing, it just ran off the edge. It just hopped off the edge of my platform. The only animal I've gotten spawn was a frickin' rabbit, and it just hopped to its death. I'm an absolute idiot. I'm an absolute moron. There's something in the book that the old mage woman gave me called the Rod of the Lands. Had I just read the book, I could have saved myself so much time. This thing is amazing. It, for the small cost of a little bit of mana, can actually spawn dirt. And I already had a bunch of runes made, so I used my Rune of the Earth, and yeah, just I can just unlimited dirt for just a little bit of mana. I can actually fill in my field now. It looks awesome. It's fantastic. I added a furnace and some hoppers in my mana production area. I don't mind harvesting trees manually now. It doesn't take very long, and I think I actually can automate that later. But for right now, I want to just be able to plop a bunch of stacks of spruce down, feed charcoal to my endoflames. Very soon, I want to get into some heavier botany stuff, and I'm going to need a lot more mana on reserve to do that. But first, the feather. I spent a good deal of time adding more dirt to my Central Park area. I really am hoping to get a single passive mob to spawn. This is pretty awful. If nothing else, maybe I'll get enough bones and string to make more cocoons, but blah. Chickens, man. Chickens. Speaking of bones, I used nearly half a sack of bone meal to gather flowers today, hoping I can make more Botania fertilizer. Should be an easy way to make a lot more magical flowers for when I'm ready to increase my abilities here. Overall, solid day. I finished off my Central Park today. It's pretty big. It's pretty bland, but pretty big. Hey, big news though. I got my first passive mob spawns. Okay, look, it's 2 more rabbits, you know, whatever, but it still counts. That tells me it's working, and that's what's really important. Now, if I can just get a chicken, we're in business. I got a sheep. A couple of them, actually. Yeah, this is great. This is really great. Not only can I turn wool into string, according to the Botania book, that's really cool, but it does show me, I was getting a little bit worried that maybe only rabbits would spawn, so it does show me that maybe all the passive mobs will spawn, and that's really, really good news. I also added a ring, so hopefully I won't fall off the edge. That'd be an added bonus. Be really nice to not die. Only 40 days into my life here. That'd be cool.
So, getting back to your time on Tavalin, did you have a family?
Yes. My mother and I were on the same escape pod, so we lived together and found a small community of wandering traders.
Humans?
It's kind of hard to explain. Our ship was conducting an experiment when it went wrong. The experiment created the singularity, sending us all back in time.
Back in time.
I suppose that probably sounds fantastic, but it's true. The first ones to escape the sheriff landed closest to the current day. The last ones to leave landed far in the past. The furthest past humans to land on Tavalin actually set up a civilization. The wandering traders were actually descendants of them.
This is a lot to take in.
Yes, I have no doubt it is.
So you lived with them on this planet, Tavalin.
Indeed. In fact, I married one. I had children. I miss them all terribly.
And since your ship exited the singularity, you haven't seen them?
No. I have no idea where Tavalin is. I do look at the stars nearly every night and wonder.
I got chickens. Amazing. I slaughtered them and got a couple feathers. I'm not concerned about keeping them to breed now that I know my giant field theory is correct. That being said, I'm going to keep my sheep. Well, I was going to set them to auto shear, but Creeper decided he wanted to play. I'm going to miss those sheep. We've been through a lot together. I finished my rune quest, and I was on such a roll, I decided to do another one back to back. I made a Rod of the Seas. This thing will create water anywhere, just like the Rod of the Lands for dirt. It only costs a little bit of mana. It's really nice. So, thus, I decided to plant my other crop field. I should be rolling in food shortly. I decided after 40 days here in this place, I would like a roof over my head. I have big plans, but I can't focus on those when I'm so tired from sleeping, only feet away from moaning zombies. I built a platform at the end of my street, and will build my house eventually up top. But first, I'm going to fill this in with dirt. It's moving day, officially. Kind of. I'm moving my mana production from one little place to an expandable area halfway up my street over to where my house is going to be. I know I won't be using charcoal forever, but for right now, I'll be able to use more endo flames and be all good. To move my mana, I'm going to have to make another mana tablet and maybe a few more pools, so yeah, I'll have to make more living rock tonight. I moved my mana production, and I made 3 more endo flames. These are so basic, but yet I just doubled my mana production. That in itself is kind of amazing. We're just about ready to actually ramp this up by using maybe a few more pools and maybe a couple more spreaders to be able to move mana all over the base wherever I want to. I don't have a need for it in different places yet, but I think I will soon. I would just like to be prepared. After a solid day of building, I worked on making sure I don't fall or get killed by mobs. I put up fences around, then torch spam the entire ground, just hoping they won't sneak up on me. I'm really psyched about this progress. I am very, very excited to have, well, a home. I don't have an absolute need for any more pumpkins yet, but I think I might soon. So I built out another small farm area, and I do intend to plant pumpkins on that, and maybe melons as well. Should be solid. You know, it would be nice to have just this stuff sitting around, so when I do need it, if I need to make some fell blazes or whatever, boom, I have a 9, 18, 27, whatever on hand ready to go. I started the day mining a giant stack of ores. I need lapis for an upcoming project. It's kind of random what the ore could give, so I used I used just about all the stone that I've smelted thus far. Should probably set up an automatic super smelter of some sort soon. But for right now, the manual isn't that painful. This orchid is amazing. It doesn't use very much mana at all, and as long as I just remember to use it before the pool fills, I'm not really wasting any. Yeah, it's really nice. I made something today called a terrasteel agglomeration plate. I think the gist is I can use it to somehow make terrasteel, and to do that I need a mana diamond, mana pearl, and mana steel. The only thing I have in decent supply is mana steel. I really don't have a source of unlimited ores and would really like to. So, options. There's basically 2 routes I can go. I either need to focus on making more mana or different ways to use my mana. I really don't know what is best right now. I guess the answer is really truly both, but I think for the immediate future, I kind of need to pick one. I spent the entire day moving the contents of my chest to my new actual storage place. It's not really a storage room yet, as it's not a room at all, but it's a kind of a wooden platform in the middle of a field that will eventually be my house, but yeah, you know, it's okay. My storage area, yeah, that's fine, storage area. I have a plan to make something I need a lot of, and that's smooth stone. Smelting cobble is already getting very old, so I'm hoping to use just a bit of mana to convert lava and water into smooth stone that I can more properly build out of, especially stone brick. I got some flowing water under lava, and that makes smooth stone. The problem is, if I break it, it will become cobblestone, and I'll be back to smelting it again. But I think there's a better solution. I can use a mana lens on a mana spreader. The one I need is called weight. It will make any block fall just like gravel. So if I put a slab under a smooth stone block and use weight on it, it should fall and break, but not turn into cobblestone. Should give me basically an unlimited supply of smooth stone. I just used a floating hourglass with a little bit of redstone to put it on a pulse, and yeah, I think it actually works. It's pretty awesome. I made a floating hopper hog today. This amazing little flower will pick up any item and drop it in the inventory it's connected to. However, there is one small issue. I don't want to pick up just anything, only smooth stone. Simple solution though, just add an item frame with the item and it will only take that. Boom. I feel like we're making progress here. I made a jaded amaranthus today. It's probably something I should have made a long while back, but this should allow me to convert mana into magic making flowers and thus eventually more mana. Getting mana up to where I want to plant it might be a little bit complicated, but eventually I want to automate it anyway, so I need to just get the infrastructure set up. I need a helper here. It's one of those things, I've always been a bit of a loner, but being here is just so very alone. I think it's the void, honestly. When I lived on a planet with other villagers, even if they were far away and I didn't have any real contact, I knew they were there. This is different. This is just me and this floating platform. Some days, it just gets to me. There was a lot of waiting today, and while I was waiting, I just found myself looking up at the stars and just wondering which planet was Tovlin. Missing my wife, my kids. Yeah. It's been quite some time since I last saw them, but it doesn't make the hurt go away. I made something today called a Pulse Redstone Mana Spreader to activate the Drum of the Wild. The thinking here is the drum will be activated every so often and break the magical flowers around it. I made an hourglass, but after trying it, decided it's just way too often, and instead I'll just use a button to just push it when I need more flowers. I really don't need to automate this. I dropped a Mana Pearl, Mana Diamond, and Mana Steel on my Terra Steel plate, and went to work building my new house. Seems as though my mana production is quite slow because by the time I went to go check on it, apparently the items despawned. Hooray for wasted precious resources. On the other hand, I do like the footprint for my house, so that's pretty cool. I got it. This takes an absolute crap ton of mana to make this Terra Steel, but I got the 2 required ingots by the old woman's quest book, thankfully. Now it's calling me to make a portal of some kind. This is weird. But first I need to address my terrible mana production for real. I've got to change. This is unsustainable at this point. Hey, I got some cows today. I don't really deeply need them, but at some point I'm going to want milk, and it's super nice to have it right here. I actually fenced them off in back of my house until I can build a more proper place for them. Who knows, maybe I'll build a floating barn. That'd be cool. I've decided I need to get some sort of enchanting at least. I'd like to get to a point where I can take on mobs without any fear, and I am certainly not there. An Enderman last night almost ended me. Here's the thing. To get the Botania enchanting set up, I need 17 obsidian. 17! That's a lot. I made all the fell pumpkins I could today and was still only able to come up with 13 blaze blocks, which can turn into obsidian. Looks like I'm headed back to the nether. I got the 17 obsidian I needed, plus a few spares. What an effort. After that, I realized I'm going to need more diamonds than I currently have. So... I made my 6 mana pylons. Pretty awesome, and now I get a quest reward. I haven't talked a lot about quest rewards because whatever, but this quest reward is amazing. I got Fortune 4, not Looting 4. Boy, I almost made a mistake. So you get 1 free book with this quest reward. Yeah, I got Fortune 4. That is a life-changing enchant at this point. I set up my enchanting stuff. It's a little confusing, honestly. Luckily, the book has this like preview function, so I could kind of preview it, but even with the preview, it was very complicated to set up. Yeah, I messed with it all day and couldn't really get it figured out. I spent literally another day trying to figure out how to get this enchanting setup to work. The book says 17 obsidian, but I cannot get the math to work to make this pattern equal 17 obsidian. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's making me just a little bit crazy. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, I got it. The thing dreams are made of a Fortune 4 pickaxe. I can hardly believe a thing like this even exists. Next, I'm going to harvest a bunch of wood, fire up my mana production, and I just went to town. I went to town on ores today. I'm really after diamonds, to be honest, because of some upcoming builds and things I want to do, but honestly, I'm just happy for all the ores. It was a great day of mining.
So, Bob, you lived on Tavalin as a young man, then the mage world with your master after that. How did you get here?
Yes, we'll get there in time, but first, I need to tell you about the Inquisitors.
They sound like bad guys.
Yes, I suppose they are. What would you say if I told you this country you live in...
The United States.
Yes, the United States is not the only United States of America in the galaxy. You see, the sheriff, the spaceship I was born on, was from a United States. Many years ago, I became friends with a brilliant man. He and I have been working closely on a theory that there is an organization that is somehow guiding the inhabited planets of the galaxy.
There is a shadowy group on multiple planets working behind the scenes?
Yes. My friend believed they've gone under many different names. Illuminati, Knights Templar, Inquisitors. On Tovlin, they worked to keep us in the mid-ages for many, many centuries. On other planets, we think they've attempted to mirror this history of what we call original Earth.
Whoa.
For example, my mother used to tell me of a city in my United States called Miami.
I never heard of it.
It's where she was born. But, yes, there's no such city here. But I've seen the maps of my parents' United States. The geography is all different, but many of the names are the same.
This is a lot to take in.
I started work on something I should have done much, much earlier. A simple tree farm. My idea is to make a modular system that can be added to basically anytime I need more. I made some bore lenses and I'm off to a good start. The more complicated stuff will come tomorrow, but we'll see how much of a master of the botanical arts I've become in the last 2 months. I moved a bit closer today on my automatic tree farm. Using a hopper hawk and 3 labeled chests, I should be able to dictate what goes where, and then from that, drop a sapling and pick up the other stuff quickly. One small drag is I'm not going to be able to use spruce with this design. I really wanted to, but it does seem like oak is really my only option due to spruce not growing with the mana spreader above it. I struggled today because I have a very basic misunderstanding on what a runicarpus actually does and how it works. It places a block on the same block as what's under the block that is planted on. You got that? So, for example, right now I had it set up where the runicarpus is planted on coarse dirt, and I thought it would plant dropped saplings on coarse dirt. But no, it has to have a block under the block it's planted on that matches where you want the planted flower to go. It's a lot easier to see than talk about. Alright, after 3 days of working on this thing, it finally works. I got it now. If I want to later on, I can add a flower called a munchdew, which actually eats leaves and makes mana. But right now, I'm not really worried about that. My mana production is going okay. Eventually, I'll have to upgrade it. But for now, I'm really worried about wood, which is honestly actually 4 mana production. But whatever, it's fine. The next thing I want to use is mana to increase the growth time of the trees because they are quite slow. And I know just the flower that I want to add to it. I wanted to work on the portal to Alfheim today, but first, before I get there, I did add 3 agri-carnations around the tree farm, and they're basically like free bone meal. It costs a little tiny bit of mana, and it will just bone meal your trees eventually. It's noticeably faster, but still not quite as fast as I'd like. I believe they're stackable, so I might add a few more whenever I get around to it. But the big project of the day is the portal to Alfheim. Now, I think to actually get this thing built and working, it's going to take quite a bit of mana to actually turn it on. But I got it built. I put the pylons there. I put some mana pools. Everything is cool. The only thing I really needed to do is make sure I'm getting mana to the mana pools that are going to sort of be powering the thing. And to do that, I'm going to have to rework where my mana spreaders are. It turns out mana spreaders can only go 12 blocks before they start losing power. So you get 12 blocks for 100% of your mana transferring between mana spreaders, but then after that, then you lose. So I don't want to lose any because I don't have that much. So yeah, we're going to have to sort of reposition where these are, but it's a small detail. I had a brilliant idea today that went sort of awry. I wanted to use endoflames at my tree farm. I'm getting all these sticks just randomly dropping whenever the leaves are eaten. And I thought, oh, well, sticks are burnable, so endoflames can eat the sticks. But you know what else they eat? Saplings. They freaking eat saplings. So yeah, so I wasn't getting any saplings. So after I went through about a stack of saplings, luckily I have a lot, but still I don't have endless supply. So yeah, I need to pick those guys right back up. I made a couple mana splitters today. For some reason, all the mana going to my Alpha portal was all going to one side of the mana pool. Can't really explain that. So using a splitter splits the mana evenly between 2 different pools, allowing both pylons to be powered. I actually think this portal has almost enough juice to actually open it. I am very dissatisfied with the rate of my tree growing. It's just so very slow. I added a couple more agri-carnations, bringing my total up to 5. Hoping the trees will grow very fast, but that adds a problem of mana. I still don't want to add a munchdew quite yet. I feel like I'm not gaining that many saplings, and I don't want to push it. So I did add another mana pool to my splitter, and I'm shooting about a third of that Alfheim mana to my tree farm now. Hope I still have enough for the portal. Honestly, I'm very tired. I'm not thinking very straight. I think that I've been afraid to go to sleep because of these recurring nightmares of my master. And, yeah. It's not real fun. It's not real fun right now on my little floating island. I built a lake the last couple days here on my island. I just felt like breaking away from the Britannia grind, and I really need to let the Endoflames run for a little while to gather mana for my portal. But I've been thinking about my situation here. If I'm going to be stuck here forever, it'd be nice to make the base look a little nicer. What's nicer than a lake? Not a lot, right? So I spent the day digging it out, then I spent the next day filling it in, and yeah, it's looking pretty nice. We'll add some nature and some greenery later on, but it's pretty good. I needed one more obsidian. You know, I'm sitting here on 72 levels that are just wasting away. I decided to make an enchanting table and enchant my gear. I mean, why not? I could enchant books and all that Britannia setup, but honestly, I'm not overly picky on what I get. So to make that, I have 3 obsidian, I need 4. So I made a blaze match and I put it in front of a pure daisy. And that's the moment that I realized what a complete and total idiot I am. I have access to the nether, which means unlimited lava, which I could turn into obsidian with just some water. It's truly unbelievable. It never even occurred to me. Wow. Just wow. I enchanted all my gear today, and I got the one enchant I really, really wanted. Silk Touch on my hoe. Now I can actually start using leaves to decorate. That's pretty cool. This is going to be a huge improvement on my general mood. Today is the day. It's time to open my portal to Alfheim. If everything goes right, I should open a portal to a different realm. Apparently, I can't walk through, so there goes my ideas of escaping this place, but I can trade with the elves who live on the other side. It's super cool. Unsettling does not even begin to describe the emotions that I felt after seeing what I saw in the portal to Alfheim. After digging around the book, I don't think that's what I should have seen. I don't know if it's my former training as an Ars Magica and Thaumcraft mage or what, but yeah, the portal didn't exactly work as intended, and yeah, that was frightening. I spent a lot of time thinking about that portal, and I had kind of an idea. Well, we'll see if it's possible, but in the meantime, I made 2 rods. One will create cobblestone and one will smelt it. It's pretty cool, actually. It's going to give me access to a lot more materials and very readily and easy to use as well. If my plan works as I hope it will, yeah, I have a lot to do in a fairly short amount of time here. I'm just thinking about the nature of this place. It's so artificial. I mean, I'm floating in a void. It's no wonder I feel like my emotions and mental state is somewhat floating as well. The brain is an amazing thing. It's not so hard to trick yourself into a different mental state. I remember when I was younger, still living on Tovlin, I read the amazing book, Waking Up by Charles Tart. It talks about how it's possible to completely change your current self with a different self. He was talking about a more positive you, or a happy you, or a depressed you. In many ways, each of these yous is a different person, all existing at the same time within your brain. It's not terribly hard with some practice to simply turn the dial and select a different you to take charge of your mental wheel. I think in this case, not seeing the void below me may be a little push that I need to feel like I have solid ground underneath me and maybe spin that dial to a more positive me. It is important that I make this place nice and homey, at least as much as I can. After working hard for 5 straight days, I decided to try my portal again. Feeling the connection to the portal, I tried to focus all of my energy and all of my mental focus to it. And, well, here's what happened. It worked. I don't know. I swear that was Tovlin. I swear it was. It was only there for a second, and when I moved towards the portal, it went away. Could I get home after all this time away? My wife, my boys? Could I see them again?
Tell me more about your brilliant friend.
Yes, his name was Percy Baskin.
Was?
Yes, sadly he got sick. We lost him 8 years ago.
That's sad. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not convinced it was natural, actually. It was so sudden. I think the Inquisitors learned of what we were working on.
You think they killed him?
I'm not sure, to be honest. But these sudden tensions between countries, I think Percy saw it coming. He talked about nuclear war coming often. In fact, he started writing a book on how to survive it.
It sounds like you two were good friends.
Yes, indeed. He even named his son after me, Robert Frederick. Percy spoke of him often. He was so very proud.
So how did you get to our world?
Well, I suppose that's really the end of my story.
The portal worked. Only for a few moments. I tried to reopen it, but I couldn't. I was out of mana and out of mental focus as well, I suppose. It's something I truly don't deserve. I've been lost for years, in fact. I've written off ever having a chance to go home. When I look up at the stars, I have no idea which one could even be mine. And yet, if that was the castle of Tovlin, maybe this portal can do more than show me other worlds. I needed to do more study. I spent another 5 days adding trees to this area. It's so important that I make this place comfortable. It's just a facade, though. If I walk up to the edge, it's obviously a void, but as long as I stay on the paths, it's fairly convincing. I decided I needed something to kind of block the edge, so I went and got a whole bunch of different kinds of saplings: acacia, spruce, dark oak, birch, jungle even, and I just planted them right around the perimeter. Again, I don't know who I'm trying to fool here necessarily, maybe myself, I guess, but it kind of works. My lack of bones is slowing me down a little bit here. I'd like to make more grass blocks so the grass will spread a little bit faster, but regardless, it will eventually spread and get all over the place, and hey, that's what really counts. I wasn't paying attention the last week. I guess I was just thinking about the portal and trying to figure out what to do about it. And I completely ran out of mana. Totally. So, yeah, I had to go make a whole bunch of charcoal. And, yeah, I spent the entire day chopping trees. Next up, I'm finally working on the house. It's been a state of half-built for quite some time now. It's time to make it a home. I may not be able to provide all the comforts of home, but I at least can put a roof over my head and work somewhat on the outside. Make it fun to come back after working all day on my Britannia. Yeah, it's coming along. After 2 full days of building, I have the beginnings of what is a pretty nice little house. I like the footprint and the general shape. Could use a lot of detail, but yeah, you know, it's not too shabby. I can see living in this house, and it could be a nice home for someone. Trying to move things out of my way, I decided to raise up my mana spreader network a little bit so I can walk around instead of always stepping over them. I came up with a nice little design that should help make the place look a little bit better as well. Nice. I decided to semi-automate my pure daisies, finally. I just put Arana carpets down and automate it so it'll place the blocks. Then I'll just use Vein Miner to break them whenever I want to. I don't see a need to automate the actual breaking of the blocks yet. But continuing base design, today I worked on the roads. There's something I really don't like about the roads, but I can't quite put my finger on it. maybe I'll sleep on it and just see what comes to mind. I tried the portal most of the day yesterday, and I saw some things that I don't really understand. I just tried to focus my mind and focus on my family and focus on connections that mean something to me, but I don't know. It's going to take some study. More greenery today. The house is looking nice, but the land around it, not so much. So I took my bone meal that I had remaining and went to town, hiding lighting under bushes to keep the monsters away and adding tons of grass all over the place. It's kind of starting to look like a real landscape. Kind of. More greenery today. I worked on a few little paths within my yard. Yeah, this is starting to feel really good now. It's really starting to feel good. One downside is I have tons and tons and tons of skeletons that live under these trees so they don't burn up in the sunlight. So that's fun. I need to talk to an expert about this portal, and I think the only experts live on the other side. So I spent some time gathering my mana and focusing my brain, and after I gathered all the materials I needed, I opened the portal, and it actually connected to Alfheim. I started by trading with them the materials that I needed, getting some Elementium and some Dragonstone and some pixie dust. In fact, I actually got enough Elementium to make all new Elementium gear, both armor and tools. I look pretty cool. I actually had just enough levels to actually enchant all my new gear, so yeah, I'm pretty ready. Feel good. To finish the last quest in the book, I had to just trade a few more times with the elves to finish that off, and then that entire chapter is done, actually. It's pretty great. I thought about communicating with the elves all night and came up with a plan. I threw my Lexicon Botania through the portal, and only a few moments later, they threw it back, but with so much more information, they filled my book with elven wonders. Oh, wow. I spent the entire night reading and learning. Armed with elven knowledge, I made a conjuration catalyst. This thing is amazing. It can double at the cost of some mana, so many resources. Living in a void, this is absolutely amazing. I can double things like soul sand, gravel, sand, and many other things that are otherwise very limited or extremely difficult to get. Incredible. The Elven book told me of more things, and, well, maybe the thing that I need. I need one more thing. It's mundane, really, but I need one ink. I thought a squid might spawn in my lake, but it seems to be over a desert void, and thus no fish. So I spent today building a small lake in what I believe is a river biome, and I'm hopeful I'll get at least a single squid to spawn here so I can finish my work. First thing in the morning, I returned to my little man-made lake, and sure enough, it was teeming with squid. Just what I needed. I have time to do one more thing. I combined the ink with a feather and a book, and I sat down and started to write. I'm sure that you will never forgive me. You shouldn't, anyway. You took me in when I was the last living person in my village, surrounded by terrible monsters. You not only protected me, but you taught me the arcane, and further, you trusted me with teaching our new school. And yet, I lived in fear. If the council is so powerful they could banish someone who is as strong as you, what could you possibly do to defend us? I didn't fear for myself, but for the helpless and weak students who were not yet trained enough to protect themselves. I'm sorry. I should have believed in you and fought by your side. The council indeed did strip me of my power like you, and yet, in this new place, I found a different kind of power. Something based in life and hope, not blood and death. Through study here, I've discovered a spell buried deep within elven knowledge that I believe will rescue you from the council's jail and bring you here. I have prepared this place for you. I remember the times you talked about the smell of the breeze going through all the different trees and plants. I remember seeing you sit at the small lake outside our city walls and just looking over the water. Master, I owe you everything, a debt I cannot possibly repay. But I hope, in time, living here in this place, you will find peace. Your student and friend, Bob. I left the book in a lectern and my armor on stand. I put all my items in the house where my master will see when he emerges from the portal. And I took one last look around. What I did here was good. And maybe, possibly, this will repay a portion of my debt from my betrayal. I don't know what the outcome of this spell will be for me, but I don't expect to live through it. The Elven book was very vague, but it was clear enough about one thing. The spell can only be used to bring someone here, but at the cost of sending the caster away. Like everything else with the Elfheim elves, it is a trade. I opened the portal, I focused my mind, and I cast the spell.
So you saved your master and used the portal to bring you here?
Well, not exactly. The portal spell was incredibly complex. It wasn't a summoning spell, but a replacement spell. I could summon my master out of his cell, but I would be projected in the opposite direction. There was no way to select a destination. I owed him everything, so there was really no question if I would do it. I didn't know if it would bring me to a survivable world or the vacuum of space. It was my utter surprise to appear here in middle of Pittsburgh in some sort of alternate United States. I arrived many years ago and despite never finding my way back to my family, managed to make a good life.
Bob, hold on a second. I just got some sort of emergency broadcasting system.
Huh. So they did it. I didn't think it would be so soon.
I don't understand. Who?
The Inquisitors. I'm sorry, my dear.
What's happening? Bob? What's happening?
I hope you all enjoyed Hardcore Minecraft 100 Days Magic Edition. Before we get into all the thanks and also what's coming next, I think you'll be very interested in that, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, the Archon. Not only is the Archon one of the biggest Minecraft networks that still operates with different game modes, including custom servers, but they've offered my subscribers a special deal for a free rank. Simply select a realm, then enter my coupon, Fixxitt, that's Fixxitt, and you'll get a special $5 rank that will make the server more fun. You can join with the IP fix.archonhq.net. You can find that in the description down below, and I'll see you online. Very special thanks to the interviewer, my wife, for recording all the dialogue for me to read as Old Man Bob. I sure hope you enjoyed it. It probably wasn't the blood magic mass carnage that some of you were expecting, but I thought it would be fun to see Bob's perspective. What's next? Well, we basically have two choices. We could go revisit our 100 Days Colony RTX world and see what's happening with the wandering traders and the Inquisitors. Or we go see what Fred is doing in his bunker. I'll look for your comments down below. Special thanks to my Patreons and YouTube members. You make everything I do possible with your amazing support. Patrons and members of any level get exclusive world downloads of all 100-day worlds, as well as private first 20-day videos and other behind-the-scenes content. I appreciate you so much. This one has been very, very fun, but also very challenging to put together with all the interconnected lore. I am going to go take a very, very long nap. We'll see you all next time.